Hello and welcome to Luigi's Gaming Lounge. This is Luigi Mario, and today I am joined once again by Out of Time Ecto 1, aka
Andy, hello.
and we're also joined by Trip Hazard, aka
Barnaby, hello.
and we are also joined by Terrors, also known as
Sam, hello.
Hello. Alright, so yeah, this is episode 14. So there's been some information come out, I believe, in the last day or two, in regards to Rockstar. So this particular podcast episode is going to be revolved around them, and the news is that Dan Houser is apparently starting a new company. His brother Sam Houser is still currently the president at of Rockstar Games, and it's interesting. It leads to a lot of different questions. Barney, I know just before the podcast, me and you were discussing a few things. Did you want to start us
Sure.
off?
Yeah, will do. Yeah, I mean, one can't help, or at least I can't help, wonder, is this the beginning of the end when you have key members of the original team who've been there years and they start leaving? I know it's only one person at the moment, but does it signal the beginning of the end? Is it a sign that Rockstar is starting to get too big for its own good? And indeed, its games getting too big for their own good? Are they going to be starting to lose that magic that we've come to know over the years? Because there are similar stories. For example, Rare was never quite as good.
Yeah,
I think when the original team left, and I think it's a completely different team now than it was in like the late 90s when they were completing games like GoldenEye and Perfect Dark. So yeah, that was the first thought that came to my mind. But I'm also interested to see what Houser will come up with his new studio. Is it going to be more of the same? Is it going to be much more indie oriented, or is it going to be something completely different?
It does make you wonder, because obviously, as well, you could also assume that, I suppose, there may have been some disagreements between the brothers Dan and Sam, and so yeah, like you say, it would be interesting to know, or what sort of direction Dan's going to be going in with this supposed new company. Like you say,
yeah.
could we see something similar to GTA, or is it going to go in a totally different direction?
Yeah, I mean, you couldn't really do anything on the same scale because it is one of the most expensive game franchises ever made, if not the
Very
most
true, yeah.
expensive. And the amount of man hours they put into it is ridiculous. So I don't think they could compete on that level. But if you went, the only, I think, sort of smart commercial decision is either go in a completely different direction or go for more of an indie style gaming offering.
Yeah, true. Well, the only reason as well, I mean, it's sort of I'll get my words out in a moment. Basically, back in 2018, Dan Houser did make a statement, which I'll just quickly read out to you guys and everyone listening. He said, bear in mind this was back in 2018. Dan Houser said it would be tricky to make GTA 6 in the world's political climate, and he said it's really unclear what we would even do with it, let alone how upset people would get with whatever we did. Houser said about GTA 6, both intense liberal progression and intense conservatism are both very militant and very angry. It is scary, but it's also strange, and yet both of them seem occasionally to veer towards the absurd. It's hard to satirize for those reasons. Some of the stuff you see is straightforwardly beyond satire. It would be out of date within 2 minutes. Everything is changing so fast. So you could read that in a couple of different ways. One way you could look at that is that, it's a possibility he is wanting to sort of step away from the, how can I say, what GTA is known for, pushing the boundaries with what they do. in terms of being even politically correct and things like that. It would seem that he is a little bit worried about that. I mean, I don't know what you guys take from that. If
See, I
Yeah.
take a completely different view.
Mhm.
I think from a business point of view, it's a positive strategy in the sense of Rockstar, again, I think I'm right, but Rockstar was founded, including those brothers, which FYI, Hauser, I can't get out of my head Total Recall. So every time you're saying the word Hauser, I just think of that film.
Right.
Get your ass to
But,
Mars.
that's all I'm thinking. Like, do I stay here? Do I go to Mars? Like, what the hell? I'm waiting for a three-titted woman to come in my face.
Oh,
Not
GTA Mars. GTA Mars would be
Yeah, no,
awesome.
yeah, Total Recall in GTA. But anyway, back to the subject. And sorry, Luigi and Sam, if you haven't seen Total Recall, because that's probably gone over your head, but hopefully you have if you haven't watched it. But yeah, the original team that founded Rockstar, they actually came from, I think it was Take-Two and BMG. So they came, together from these other ones to form, obviously, the massive company that was Rockstar. If you look at Rockstar back in the day, present day Rockstar to me, they've pigeonholed themselves. They are the open world game. Your Red Dead, your GTA, that's Rockstar. There's very little else really coming out of them over the past so many years. Whereas before, in their heyday, in the earlier days, you had things like the table tennis, the Bully, Max Payne. I think they even did like some monster truck things early in the day.
Yeah, they
had a
did
bit
on the
more
N64 and also
Yeah.
Midnight Club Racing as well.
Yeah,
Ah,
they
yeah.
had a bit more diversity. So they've sort of monopolized that sector, like the open world game. It's owned by Rockstar. The biggest selling games. The fact that GTA 5 is now going to go on to yet another generation of console just shows the longevity and the demand and the player base. And from a company point of view, it must be running itself. There's not a lot of new design flair or ideas or creativity. They've got a model that works. And if they've got that team in there, then why, if these two brothers are the brains of the operation, if it was my business, I'd be like, look, hang about, you stay here, you hold the fort, you make sure these wheels are moving. I'm going to go do another company and spread our wings in another avenue and see if we can monopolize the shit out of another genre. Because why do you need all of the creative minds and all of the positive people under one roof when it's still the same stuff being churned out? That's not to say it's bad stuff being churned out, but they've fine-tuned everything. It's like I say, another generation, and it's being re-released on it. There's not really anything new coming. So I take from that, maybe he's the more creative of the two brothers, and he wants to exercise his creative muscles, wants to try new things. From a business point of view, the boardroom would be like, well, you know what, we're sort of wasted here. We know what we're doing. We've been doing for the past 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 years now. Yeah, you go do that. I'll tell you what, we could probably save some money on taxes by shifting some money across to a new company at the same time. So I see it, I haven't read anything of any falling outs or any, ill speak. What you touched on with obviously the politics of modern day, you could go the joke approach that the character select screen would be hard enough because, back in the day it was male or female. Now you're going to be male, female, both, unicorn, pencil. You can identify as anything. So you'd probably take you 2.5 hours to get this character select screen. But obviously Rockstar, again, another game, Manhunt back in the day.
Yeah.
They're very close to the edge. They like to, and like GTA when it first came out, they like to push the boundaries. Yes, we are getting into a world where it's supposed to be a world of freedom of speech, and it very much is, as long as the person who's listening agrees with you.
Yeah.
We're also very much in a world where if someone disagrees with you, they'll take offence to it. So from a commercial point of view, yes, they have got to be a bit more conscientious of that. I think that's the only thing that could ruffle feathers, especially if you are an artistic guy, a creative guy, because you'd be like, for fuck's sake, why have I got to worry about X, Y, and Z? I just want to let the creative juices flow.
Yeah.
Other than that, I don't see there being any sort of negatives. I see it more as a power play, start taking over another genre. Like I say, why have all the power players under one roof? Spread your assets.
Yeah, I mean, I never really thought about it in that way, but it makes a lot of sense. And in actual fact, I mean, I did have a question to ask you, Andy, but I think you actually answered it a little bit further on with what you were saying. In regards to, I was going to say that, well, why wouldn't they, if they are wanting to take over like another genre, for example, why wouldn't they do that in-house, as Rockstar? But you made a very good point. They're such a big company, and they're worth X amount of money. They probably can save a good whack on creating this new company.
Money saving exercise, but also brand identity, brand reputation can make or break a company.
Yes,
Rockstar have one of the strong. For example, what's the company that released and they did The Witcher before?
Oh yeah, CD Projekt Red, weren't it?
They took a fucking hit. Going into Cyberpunk, they were the dog dangles.
Mm-hmm.
Post Cyberpunk, their reputations took a massive hit. The trust in the developers has dropped, and that obviously has whether they're floated on the stock market or whether they're private, I don't know, but it's going to take a knock on with your figures. The same as Rockstar. Rockstar, there's some, like Midnight Club. I've never played it. It's not going to be as big. The Monster Truck game, it probably had its small fan base. But even the things like table tennis, that was a huge success, which is a really random game.
It was a very good game.
Success. And then, even going back to the first Red Dead, the Red Dead Revolver, I remember playing on the original Xbox. They've really formed a very small niche of games and titles, and they're rolling with what works. And the problem is, if they try something new and it doesn't work, it can have a catastrophic knock-on effect of the entire company from a financial point of view and the brand reputation and the trust. So again, it would make better business sense, like saying, okay, for all we know in the boardroom, they've got a million ideas that they're conjuring up. And that's not to say I imagine Rockstar still will try new things in the future, but they're going to be a lot more cautious about it.
I wonder, sorry.
Whereas, like Barney was saying, like if they do, if their brother who left does want to try something more indie or try something a bit more out of the box, you don't mess with something that's working.
Yeah.
However, you can obviously move across and think, you know what, you take some of the creative team across, you take some of the designers and the devs, you go across there. We've got this sorted, don't worry. And it's no different to you open a restaurant, it works, and then you start franchising it. But then each franchise can have a different theme. The fundamentals are still there. So I may be wrong, but I haven't heard or seen anything negative. So I think it's just a strategic business play. And if anything, positives can come of it because, the brothers are, I think maybe there was a couple of others, but they're two of the biggest minds that, created Rockstar way back when. So they've gone through the whole storyline with Rockstar. And one of those great minds has now gone across to form another company. Hopefully it's a continuation of good things, especially if they're going to think more outside the box and steer away from the open world sort of thing that they've now nailed.
Yeah. Well, it makes you wonder, like, you've made a lot of good points, and I think Rockstar, like you say, they're known now as sort of the open world, games as such coming from them. But they've also in the past not been a stranger to their more linear games. The one that comes to mind the most, which I absolutely love, and I know it's from an old movie, The Warriors. Absolutely. Oh, yeah. I don't know if you've played it on the PS2. It was a fantastic game.
I haven't played the game, but I absolutely love the film.
Oh, that's
so
you,
I can imagine Rockstar were rubbing their hands when they got the agreement to use that license.
I'm actually in shock that you and Barney haven't played that because it is an amazing game. I never had a PS2.
Bypassed me, I'm afraid.
You need to try and make some time to play that game because it is so good.
Max Payne that we picked, yeah?
Yes, that's Rockstar as well.
That's Rockstar.
That's what I mean. So it's making me wonder, like, with Dan going to a different company, and obviously he's not going to have as many funds available, obviously, as if he was with Rockstar, for example, or
Hey,
Rockstar.
if it's in cahoots with Rockstar, he'll have whatever's needed about it.
Well, yeah,
Because
that's true.
Rockstar ain't short of a fair bit of change, are they?
No, that's true. But yeah, no, they made their linear games extremely well. I mean, I've only recently played Max Payne on PC, the first one, and even playing that game now, it still plays so good. And I've been really enjoying it. And again, playing, like I said, the Warriors back in the day when I had my PS2. Fantastic game, and they're linear games. I mean, the Warriors was slightly... There was elements where it was slightly open world, but it was still, very linear.
Like Hub World.
Yeah, sort of. So yeah, no, I mean it's going to be interesting. I'm excited to see what comes about, and I feel after you've made that point, Andy, I think there's a good chance that could be the real possibility. But yeah,
There's always money behind the scenes. Money steers everything. And look at Amazon, for example, and how little taxes they pay across the whole world.
yeah,
And that's because Amazon has many companies. They have Amazon and Amazon EU and Amazon SRO and Amazon this and Amazon that. And they're all separate companies, but they're all going into the same guy's coffers.
yeah. He's making some moolah. So
hold on, can someone check Sam's pulse? Make sure he's still with us.
Sam,
I'm still here. I'm just listening.
Hey.
have you got anything to add to that section, or you all good?
I'll be honest with you. My sort of background and knowledge with Rockstar is quite limited. I've obviously played, several of the games you've mentioned. GTA, obviously, and Manhunt. I remember playing that. And Bully, I played that as well. But I think really, yeah, from what basically what you guys have already sort of said in terms of like this sort of diversion or sort of the guy who's is it his brother? Is it? He says brothers.
Yeah, Dan Houser.
Yeah, so he's I think what the reason he got on is basically like Andy was saying, like there's potentially it could be financially related, but also they don't want to ruin the reputation that Rockstar have, because they have a very solid reputation. Like,
Yeah,
you don't really hear, when they release their games. I mean, they don't really get much bad press. Do you know what I mean? Because they're very, very good at what they do and the style of games that they release. So I do think that this could be another sort of way for them to experiment and bring more titles out, but without tarnishing the Rockstar name and reputation.
taking that risk without sort of
Yeah,
ruining the rep.
it could have a more personal, effect on whichever brother it is. Sorry.
Yeah,
His reputation could potentially be damaged, but I think, I think even if it didn't really go well, and he went back to Rockstar, like, do you know what I mean? It would just get forgotten about quickly. It wouldn't really be a big thing. So, yeah, I mean, I think it is quite exciting when you think about it. There could be all sorts of different types of games
Going
come
back
out.
to what you originally said, Luigi, I think the only negative that would have caught, because imagine if you had a sibling and you got on well with them, and you got on well with them for years and years, and you built a massive, not just a successful company, a hugely successful company, breaking records left, right, and centre. You got more money than you could ever need. You're doing the job you love. Unless one of them slept with the other one's wife, there's not really anything that's going to sort of rock the boat other than artistic direction. So if you've got two siblings and one is more business orientated and the other's more creatively orientated, that can be the only conflict. And I think it is a strategic business move, but I do think that you don't know which the main creative mind is, or maybe one they both used to be, but one's now gone into more of the boardroom running of things rather than the design floor and things like that. And the
Yeah.
other one never. You put your aces in the places, people play to their strengths. If it is that, again, you'd want to encourage that. You wouldn't want someone to be rotting. You'd want them to flex their creative muscles.
Yeah.
And again, with Rockstar, they're probably paying off, or it's a business expense. Instead of paying tax on it, they're going to be putting it through as an expense to start up a new company.
Yeah.
So everyone wins.
Yeah. Yeah. No,
Or in 6 months' time, we find out that they did sleep with each other's wives, and
it was a what's it called, a swinging session gone wrong.
they took the wrong keys out of the pot.
I've just had a quick look at their sort of catalogue. Obviously, we all know the main ones, but there's actually some older games which I didn't realise came from Rockstar. One of which was on the PlayStation 1. I don't know if you guys have played this. It was called Thrasher Presents Skate and Destroy. It was a skateboarding game.
Haven't even heard of that.
Never played it. Heard of it, but never played it.
Oh, I absolutely loved it. I remember you get chased by like a security guard and stuff, and the soundtrack to that game was awesome. So yeah,
A name like Thrasher, I'm expecting heavy metal.
I don't think it was quite heavy metal, but it was some really good tunes. And also another one which you possibly might have heard of on the PlayStation 2, and this was one of the first games that I had on PS2, State of Emergency.
I've heard of that, haven't played it.
Well, basically, the first one anyway, because there's 1 and 2, but the first one, you start off in like a huge shopping mall, and it's really weird. Like you've got missions to do, but like you can literally just shoot down anybody in the shopping mall. Like there's loads of civilians, basically. Just and
It sounds like Rockstar.
yeah, very controversial.
If it moves, kill it.
Yeah. Very, very controversial. There's one on here. I don't know if you guys might be able to shed some light, because it's from N64. Earthworm Jim 3D.
It wasn't very good from what I remember, so I never bought it.
I didn't realise it was made by Rockstar. To be fair,
No, I mean it's under their.
The original Earthworm Jims weren't. So again, it makes you think like that they somehow pay money for a license, and but
I think it got bad. I think it got some bad flack because
I had a lot of N64 games, and that one completely passed me by. So
I think it got some. I think it got some bad flack because the excuse me, sorry, the 2D one that was on the. I think it was out on the Mega Drive and the Super Nintendo was actually really good. Like, it was a really good.
Yeah, I remember playing that on the SNES.
Yeah, it was really good. It was better on the SNES than it was on the Mega Drive, to be fair. And I think really, they obviously went 3D with it with the N64 version, and it just didn't. Yeah, it just didn't touch people in the same way that the 2D one did. So I think that was kind of why it got some bad rep on it. But. I'm sure I played it. But it's
so memorable.
Like Andy, but like Andy said, it's one of them that it passed me by really, and I think it did pass quite a lot of people by.
And I used to love the original Earthworm Jims as well on the Mega Drive, not the SNES. So it's definitely something I would have been like, oh yeah, but for me to not remember it,
maybe marketed.
It's definitely one I would have picked up if it was good.
Maybe it just wasn't marketed very well, because I don't overly. I sort of now looking. I've just had a quick look on Google, funny enough, and I do remember it now, like seeing the images and stuff.
Yeah.
But when you sort of just said it then, I was thinking, I don't really remember that, and then I do remember now looking at it, thinking, I know. I remember there was even a magazine. It didn't get a very good write up, so
yeah. Another game which is an absolute beauty from Rockstar, and I don't know if you guys have played it, LA Noire.
Not played it, but
I've heard good things. I haven't played it.
Oh my!
Heard very good things.
Oh my! What is going on today? Not played the
Wait, when we
Warriors.
say playing it, have you played it for more than 10 minutes, Louis?
Yes, I have. In actual fact, on the I had it
Streamed
originally.
it, I think.
I haven't streamed it, but I owned it on the Xbox 360, and I believe it came on 3 discs on the Xbox 360, and I got towards the end of the second disc. I never actually completed it. However, they have done like a
Did you hear all those gasps when you said you hadn't completed it?
Yeah, I know. No, I think they've done a remaster for like the PS4 and Xbox One. So it is something.
I think I've got it on the PS4, and I think it was on like the monthly PS Network deal things or whatever, like when you get the free games.
Yeah. So yeah, there is a remastered. Absolutely recommend it. It was a game that they used. I can't remember basically the facial. What is it? Mechanics as such are absolutely out of this world on that game. Like, it is like no other. They used something, I can't remember what it was. One moment, I'll get the information.
Of motion capture.
Facial mocap. Yeah, the facial mocap in LA Noire was way ahead of its time. Yeah, and obviously, again, this is going back onto the 360 era, and at that time, you just didn't play another game like it. Super cool being on the side of the law as well, a detective in the, I want to say 40s or 50s. I think it was 50s.
I think it was 50s.
Yeah, super cool game. I actually can't believe it, because there's, like I say, the Warriors, absolute class game. Back when I was playing the Warriors, that is all me and anybody that was around me that played on PlayStation was playing at the time. And again, LA Noire, I think you're probably some of the first people I've met that haven't played that game. That's I'm flabbergasted, guys. Absolutely flabbergasted.
It didn't really grab me. I played it for a bit, but it didn't grab me. Not like GTA did or the original Red Dead Redemption did.
No? Really?
No, it didn't. No.
Oh,
No,
man.
characters didn't grab me. Story didn't really grab me. Technically, it was impressive, but no, it just didn't grab me. I just didn't feel the urge to keep playing.
Fair enough. I mean, not every game's for everybody, but like I say,
In
for
theory,
me,
in theory, it would be really good, but it just didn't grab me at the time. So
fair enough. How about then? Come on, you've got to give it up for Bully. Surely we've all played Bully.
Nope, sorry,
I've got it
on. What?
I played Bully on the Wii.
Oh, Andy.
Of all consoles.
I had it on the 360.
Yeah, did you like it, Sam?
Yeah, it was pretty good. Yeah.
Yeah, it was a pretty awesome game, to be fair. Something.
It was good.
Something different than I think.
It was just good because you were just basically like obviously a school kid, and you were just basically doing everything you shouldn't have done at school. It was good.
It really was, especially at the time. I think now, like, probably going to it now and playing it is a bit dated, obviously. Hence why there's been a lot of people screaming out for Bully 2. But yeah, at the time, it was just again, it was one of them games. It's Rockstar. What could you say? I mean, they're just good at what they do.
I'm a bit disappointed you're going through their catalogue, which I've now brought up. And you've missed 2 classics, don't get me wrong, I never heard of them in my life. But on the Game Boy Color released in 2000, you've got Austin Powers, Oh Behave, and you've got Austin Powers, Welcome to My Underground Lair.
I don't...
Tell me you haven't played them.
What?
I've never even heard of them.
Right, one moment.
But the cover to Austin Powers, Oh Behave, is quite beautiful.
Let's have a look. It's
got an IGN score of 3 out of 10, so I think we've found the duds.
Right, so they have had some then. They have had some terrible games.
Trouble was the GBA had loads of shovelware games that were just like coded in a few months and just shoved out on release without much care or attention.
Right. Well, it's not come under. I'm on their actual official site now.
Yeah, I'd shovel it under the rug as well. Yeah, I wouldn't put it on my website.
Fair enough. Right. Okay. So that's one they definitely wanted, because it's not.
Yeah, just quietly forget about that one.
Yeah, they seem quite happy to. Another game. Did any of you guys play Grand Theft Auto Chinatown Wars? Because that changed.
No.
That changed up.
It was interesting. It was interesting, but I didn't like the overhead view.
Yeah,
It's too difficult to drive. Way too difficult to drive.
it was. I mean, I stuck it out for quite. So again, shock horror.
I
Here
liked it.
Here comes the gasps. I never completed it, but no,
I didn't either.
I did enjoy it.
I'll tell you another game they brought out that was brilliant. Smuggler's Run.
Yeah, that's. I've never played. I'll be honest, not played
heard
them.
of it,
But
never played it.
yeah,
Oh, that was really good. I like that.
I did hear good things
So-
on that.
PS2, Xbox.
Yeah, it was on the PS2. I swear I had it on the GameCube. I'm sure I did.
Might have been multi-format.
I'm sure I had it on the GameCube. I'm sure I did.
Just switching back over to a little bit of earlier conversation regarding GTA 6. I don't know if you guys saw, because I sent you obviously a couple of links with some information. Where are we? So, yeah, it says GTA 6 will reportedly only be out in 2025 and will include Fortnite-like evolving map. I'll repeat that. Fortnite-like evolving map. And supposedly, contrary to what has already sort of been said, it's looking like it may be in Vice City, but not long ago we heard that it'd actually be set in the 80s. So yeah, I mean, I don't know what that means. I don't know what Fortnite like evolving map. I mean, what does that say to you guys? Have you guys got anything on that?
You could look at it in two different ways. I mean, if you look at it in a positive light, it's evolving and adapting to changing gameplay styles. If you look at it in a more negative light, then having a Fortnite-like evolving map is just like jumping on the populist bandwagon. And it may be more a sign of weakness rather than strength. So yeah, it could be great. I mean, to have an evolving map would give existing players an incentive to keep playing, even if they've been playing it for months on end already.
Yeah,
because there'll always be something new to experience. But on the other hand, if it's done poorly, then it could just be like I was saying earlier, the beginning of the end for the GTA series. And regarding the setting, I'm a little bit disappointed in the lack of imagination for the new setting, if that is the case.
well,
Because I think they need to move away from the standard settings that they've been using in the past, because it's all been seen before. And although Vice City was a cult favourite from back in the PS2 era, I think just rehashing old settings is not going to
I think
evolve the series.
I think by the sounds of what I've got here, though, Barney, they would look to do similar to what they did with GTA 5, in the sense that GTA 5 is set, obviously, one of the best games, Grand Theft Auto San Andreas. It's set in that area, but modern day, and that's actually what it states here. It was actually Tom Henderson, who previously leaked Call of Duty and Battlefield 2042 details, who has stated that it would be set in a modern day version of Vice City. So if that is true, I I think it would be different enough to differentiate it from the original Vice City in the sense that, there's probably certain places and things you can see, go to on the map that you can tell are from, the previous Vice City game. But, if you play Grand Theft Auto San Andreas and then GTA 5, like I say, to me, they're different enough to differentiate between the two. Does that make sense? Do you get what I mean?
It does, but I still would be disappointed because I think they need to evolve the series past those routes.
Mm-hmm.
They need to think a bit more outside the box, I think.
What, possibly
like
even a different country, or
completely outside of America? Yes, definitely.
Yeah.
I agree.
Yeah, somewhere like Italy. Italy has got a beautiful geographical location, and it's also famous for gangsters. Ideal.
Yeah.
Or you could have it set in London, for example. There's a big metropolitan city like Los Angeles or New York, which the previous two games, GTA 4 and 5, have based their maps on.
Mm-hmm.
And again, it's sort of a famous hub for gangsters and criminals.
Yeah.
Or
maybe
given the
Russia.
size of given the size of games and the tech and everything, do some of Europe where you got landlocked countries,
Mm-hmm.
and you can get little flavors from all different countries.
Exactly.
Yeah. I mean,
You got planes in GTA, so what's stopping you flying? And then even if you did like Great Britain and then France, Spain, Germany, Belgium, Austria, Switzerland, those sort of countries, and you can actually fly and stuff like that.
Doing some drug running over Europe.
Yeah.
Why not?
What Barney was saying about the the map changing like Fortnite.
Yeah.
I completely agree. If they copy Fortnite, I think it's shit. I actually don't like that about Fortnite because the way they update it has a real disconnect. It's a real sort of slice down the middle. And yes, it's still the same map with changes and things, but it's more like a new chapter, or I think they call it chapters. It's like a new chapter of a book. It doesn't feel organic. Whereas if GTA did an organic feel, which I don't know whether it's going to be possible given, full fiber is not rolled out to everyone, and the size of the updates could be, quite big. But say if it was organic, so you've got, X city, like a real city, you'll have certain shops getting broken into, certain crimes being committed, certain fires happening, certain car crashes, certain major disasters, things like that. So instead of having a snapshot change like Fortnite, it's these little subtle changes, much like a real world, where you could, you'd go to a gun shop that you think could be there, but then it's burnt down, and then you can't find another gun shop. It's like, oh, bloody hell. And then you could read about it in the news in game and create like an organic feel, but it need to rely on semi-regular updates, like weekly, fortnightly, monthly updates.
Yeah.
And that could potentially piss people off, i.e. like Modern Warfare.
Yeah.
So it depends where the infrastructure's at, in 2025, for most of the country, whether some of that work.
Yeah, true. No, I mean, there's so much potential with what they could do. I mean, for example, one of the things I've always thought Rockstar Games would be brilliant. I mean, obviously the sort of the gritty crime sort of underworld, they're very good at portraying that through the likes of GTA. One of which, like for example, the sort of Colombian, Cuban, the drug trade. I feel like they could absolutely nail something like that, and sticking along the lines of traveling to different countries, for example, they could even potentially, they've got America as such, San Andreas and New York sort of mapped out really in game. So if they were to create something like even, from Mexico, like say Colombia, Cuba, somewhere like that, and put in like a bit of a drug trafficking theme, I suppose, where you can go from city to city between the two.
Or Rockstar, get real dark, people trafficking.
Oh, could you imagine? Could you imagine? I don't know if they'd dabble with that, to be honest. I think.
But then that's saying that people trafficking is a worse crime than drug trafficker. But that's only someone's opinion that makes us the morals of an individual.
Oh no! Don't get too deep now, Andy. Come on. No, I mean,
It happens in life. I want to see it in GTA.
True. I think with regardless what they do with GTA 6, I don't know. I mean, there was a big part of me because obviously how big the GTA Online universe is now. There was a big part of me that was wondering whether they would look to sort of scrap single player sort of story, because if you actually play GTA Online, there is still like story but online, if that makes sense. And that's at the end of the day, it's not their single player that they get their money from. They're getting that money from the online aspect of the game. I mean, obviously Red Dead have brought out a standalone online game, so I mean it's possible they might even release them separately.
GTA have got an online game coming out at the end of the year, haven't they?
What, just solely online?
Yep. It's released the same day as the GTA 5 re-release for the next gen. Whatever date that is, it's the same day they're also releasing GTA Online.
So it's gonna, so they're following along the same lines of, so basically if you've already played the story, then you don't have to sort of purchase it yet again. You just have to purchase the online. That's quite a clever way for them to go, I suppose. It seems to have worked with Red Dead, like I say, having the Red Dead Online. When they released that, actually, I think they released it for really cheap. Like I think it was only like £4.99 for like.
Again, it's all the microtransactions will get the money, though, won't it?
Exactly. So obviously, the first week or two it comes out, sell it cheap. People think they get an absolute bargain. Oh yeah, £4.99. But then it's always that temptation to spend on the microtransactions. Which a lot of
especially
people do.
in GTA when you need that lap dance.
Get that money. What game? I've just seen there's a game called Agent. Is that out yet?
No, it's cancelled. Yeah, it was cancelled. It was actually announced in about 2007, I think.
Yes.
Copyright was renewed in 2013, and in 2017 the trademark. But I'm disappointed, really, because I think, like I was saying earlier, with GTA needing to branch out into different areas, if they'd done a GTA game in the style of a Cold War espionage theme, I think that would have been epic. So I'm disappointed that they never fulfilled that game title.
Yeah.
I mean, say never say never, because it might be now trademarked under that brother's new company.
Possibly.
You never know. I'm sure. Didn't they release some footage years back, like you say? Because I know it's.
I think there was some concept art. I don't think it was ever released. They've released any footage.
Oh, okay.
Not from the brief research that I've done.
Right. Okay.
But yeah, I love the spy genre. So yeah, I'm disappointed that they didn't do a spy genre GTA like they did with the gangster genre.
Well, they might sort of, never know, come back and do a whole new game, and
fingers crossed.
Fingers crossed.
Because there is so much you can do with the GTA model. I mean, we've already touched on it with LA Noire, Bully, and Red Dead Redemptions, which are essentially using a very similar engine to GTA, but with completely different themes. I mean, it suits Red Dead really well, from what I've heard. It suits Bully really well. I mean, LA Noire didn't really grab me, but I can see that it would also do well in the kind of detective film noir genre as well. So I'm sure there are loads of other genres. And like we kind of joked earlier, I'd happily fork out money for a GTA Mars, a GTA Total Recall.
That would be awesome.
It may be on the cards. You never know.
Rockstar, I hope you're listening.
Yeah.
And we never got the answer.
Dan Houser.
Luigi, Sam, have you seen Total Recall?
No.
Yes. I love Total Recall.
Awesome. Luigi, you haven't?
No. But I think we've had this...
You dare say to us about playing those games.
Although the new one...
Don't see the new one. Fucking hell.
The new one is awful.
I didn't even finish watching it.
Oh, okay. It's that bad, is it?
Yeah, don't watch them on
Yeah,
the commentaries,
I
for the
didn't,
love
I
of
didn't
God.
finish. I didn't finish watching it either. Funny enough.
Oh dear.
The original one though, with Arnold Schwarzenegger in from the '90s, was awesome.
It was your classic action. Classic
Actually,
action
one of my
sci-fi.
favourite films, to be fair.
Yeah.
I'm sure you mentioned this before because earlier you said something about the free boobies, and I'm
Yeah.
sure. Yeah, you've mentioned this previously about that because
But once you've seen three boobs, you can't unsee it, so it's like sticks with you. So that's why you got to see the film, haven't you?
Yeah, I literally watched it about 2 months ago. Funny enough, again because I hadn't seen it for so long. But I know I wasn't very old when I watched it because I remember my dad used to buy all all those kind of films back in the '90s, and I used to have a video player in my room. I'm pretty sure I used to just go and like basically let him know and just take the films that had like the 18 red 18 badge on them because I was like,
Yeah,
well,
good
obviously
man.
So yeah, seeing three boobies when you're like 7 years old was
Like
like
the best thing
you're
ever.
not. Yeah, you weren't ever forgetting that.
Apart from when you actually cop a feel for the first time, and you're like, "Oh, there's only two."
Yeah. What's going on?
I feel shortchanged.
You've got one missing.
you've
What's
got
going
one
on about?
missing.
You're weird.
Brilliant. I just wanted
And actually, it looked really. Sorry to interrupt.
No,
Reggie,
go on.
but if you watch that film again, guys, it looks so good, like real for its time, like from when it came out. Like it still
Yeah,
looks really good. It's
The animatronic stuff is a little bit patchy nowadays, but everything else is pretty good. It still holds up well.
yeah.
Well, I might have to give it a watch
Yes,
at
It's
some
a
point.
Yes, you
it's a
will,
thinker
Luigi.
as well. It's a thinker, Luigi.
Oh,
So there
yeah.
is some depth
It's
to
a
the
smart
story that
action
makes you
film.
think.
Yeah, it's a
Yeah.
smart action film. It's Paul Verhoeven, the same director as RoboCop,
Oh, okay.
Yeah. Although
the original RoboCop.
you will probably be traumatized and scarred for life when you see the man who's got the baby that's growing on his stomach. That just looks really, really, really weird. Like,
That's where the title's got the inspiration for Krang.
yeah, it literally like that gave me like some serious nightmares as a kid. That thing, it was horrific, and it's still pretty bad now. When I watched it,
I just felt sorry for it.
I knew I didn't like that when I was a kid. I still don't like it now.
Three breasts on one side and Quato on the other side.
Yeah, that's
Beautiful.
it. Yeah, Quarto.
Yeah, so moving on from Total Recall.
Was this episode not about Total Recall?
No, not at all. No, I just wanted to ask because, in actual fact, I knew there was a game called Red Dead Revolver, and I remember it being very well received. And
I love Red
also,
Dead Revolver. It's the first Red Dead Redemption.
Wow, this is what I'm going to say. Hang on a moment. So there's Red Dead
Luigi,
Revolver.
sorry,
Yeah.
just before you move on to this, bud. I just googled Total Recall just out of interest.
Sake.
It's actually showing at Peterborough Cinema tomorrow at 7:00.
Right, well, I'm not going.
How cool is that?
But yeah, so Red Dead Revolver.
Anyway, sorry.
Yeah, no worries. Yeah, Red Dead Revolver, which is obviously from Rockstar. But then there was the other game as well called Gun. I don't know if you guys ever heard of that.
Oh, yeah,
I
played
yeah.
Yeah, I
was
played
very
that. That was-
basic. Yeah, very
I
basic.
liked it. I thought it was brilliant.
Well,
Oh, okay.
I at the time, I remember both of these games being mentioned. However, I overwhelmingly heard good things about Gun in compared to Red Dead Revolver. Have you? Well,
Check
was-
your resources, honestly.
well,
I liked Gun a lot. I played through the whole game.
well.
Cool.
My question is, if you guys have played Red Dead Revolver, is it still worth a play today? Because
I didn't play that.
I've not played it.
No,
I
I've
really
played
enjoyed it.
No.
And I completed the whole thing on the original Xbox.
Is it open world or
I can't remember a massive deal, if I'm honest, for it.
you just
But I
remember enjoying it? Do you?
I remember it being one of the real games that I played through to the finish.
Right.
And I think it had like bullet time in it, and it
Yeah.
reminded me of Max Payne. Because again, I played Max Payne on the original Xbox. They reminded me of each other, which again, now that we're talking about Rockstar, makes sense. because they both sort of implemented the bullet time and things like that. And I enjoyed both of those games equally as much.
Yeah. Yeah. What was you going to say, Sam? I think you was.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure Gun had bullet time in, and it was it was a really good game. You go around, you get like the wanted. You'd go, you'd have to track down like someone like he was obviously wanted or whatever, and there was a bounty out for him, and you would travel the open world on a horse.
Yeah.
And I thought it was good. It wasn't like Barney said, it was it was quite basic in a lot of ways, but for me, I've always preferred the games that are a bit sort of more basic as opposed to trying to put too much in,
Yeah.
But yeah, I remember playing it, had it on the GameCube, played all the way through it. It was it was good.
Oh, fair enough.
I've just dug up on Red Dead Revolver here, Luigi. It is
Yep.
a linear storyline, so that explains it. It's basically Max Payne.
Right.
You got Max Payne, you got Red Dead Revolver. They both implemented bullet time. They both got a linear storyline.
Right.
But I equally enjoyed them both. So
Fair
if you're
enough.
enjoying Max Payne, I'd probably give it a go.
Yeah. No, I think I'll have to give it a little visit and see what it was like. I do actually really like the look, and I always have done, of Max Payne 3, because that came out on the Xbox 360, and I remember at the time just looking at it, and I saw some gameplay of Max Payne 3, and yeah, like I say, at the time it just looked so good, and yeah, I've not played it. I don't know if you guys have tried it out, but
Never played number 3.
no, yeah, I mean,
No, played the first one.
yeah, well, it's one of them. They made a big. I don't know how to. Well, I suppose it's just Rockstar in general. They really had like a very big sort of advertising campaign for Max Payne 3. Probably because of the fact that it'd been a while from number 2, I suppose. But yeah, no. Like I say, that's something that's always stuck in my mind, and I thought I must try that. And several years have passed, and I've still not tried it. But there's still hope, because you guys mentioned the original Max Payne, and I have been playing it. So I've got
How much have you played of it? 11 minutes, 12?
a little while. Quite a little while. I can't actually remember.
14 minutes. Well done.
Yeah, I think about 15 and a half, something like that, Jacob. No, I think, yeah, to be honest with you, there's not really much more we can say on regards to Rockstar Games.
Yes, we go back to Total Recall.
No.
That's going to be next episode.
Next episode. But no, I think one
You
thing...
need to watch it, Luigi.
I will.
I think they should make a Total Recall game. It's a good setting.
I'm pretty sure.
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure I mentioned this to Maddie, and she said she's watched it and it's really good. So.
Of course, yes. 3 boobies.
3 boobies.
Your wife's got taste.
She don't need a bloody another one. 2 of them are enough. Anyway. Yeah. No. I just wanted to say as well. You can't sort of disagree with the fact that Rockstar do make amazing games. I mean,
Apart from the 2 Austin Power games on the Game Boy Color,
like you said, they've
which
pushed.
we've dug out of the skeletons from their closet this evening.
Yeah.
There is a Total Recall game.
Oh,
On the
goodness.
Nintendo.
Yes.
Yes, yeah. I've seen footage of that one.
I
But
bet-
that was back in the old days. So I think they need to do
Yeah.
it using something like the GTA engine or something.
Yeah, no, definitely.
No, because again, you could alternate between like Earth and Mars and that, couldn't you?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Then
That
you
would
could
be
get
so
your ass to
cool.
Mars.
You really want this to happen, Barney, don't you?
I do. I think, yeah, as I said, GTA need to branch out. Why not into the Total Recall universe?
Oh,
And
Yeah, they
like,
would- they could
are
do-
known to take on licenses. And Total Recall has got a massive cult following,
Yeah.
and all licenses are probably going to be lapsed or they're going to be cheap to obtain.
Yeah. Well,
Obviously,
they could even
because
do
they
they could
sold
even
the
do a
rights to Colin
crossover,
Farrell.
maybe. Do like Paul
Yeah.
Verhoeven and crossover and make it a RoboCop Total Recall combination.
Like some sci-fi, like a sci-fi cult classic junkies GTA or something.
Robocop
Yeah,
is
why
going to
not?
return as well.
Yeah, a better
Robo-
return than they did the first time round remaking it. That was a bit lame.
Yeah. Yeah, I actually
The
quite
only
enjoyed
good
the
thing that
last one.
came, the only good thing that came with the last one for me was Noah got to watch it. She was like, "Oh, can I watch Robocop?" I was like, "You're not watching the first one, mate. Why? It's not really kid appropriate." Whereas the
Was that
re-release
all?
came
brutal.
and I could let him watch it.
What was that machine called? Was it
T1,
you know,
T2000 or something, right?
was that what it
T1.
was? Was it the T1000?
Are you talking about Robocop still?
Yeah.
Ed 209.
Headphone, there you go. I'm thinking of
Oh yeah, I
Terminator,
think
aren't I?
that's it.
You have 20 seconds to comply.
To comply. Yeah, that's it. Yeah, that was so cool.
Are we going to have to start a film podcast or something?
That would actually be
Yeah.
a really good
Luigi's Film Lounge.
I mean, the best thing to do is promise your fans right now, Luigi, you're going to the showcase tomorrow at 7 o'clock.
No
Makes
chance.
sense.
Not
Makes
happening,
sense.
people. Not happening.
Come
Do
on,
not
mate.
listen to them. But no, I think we'll wrap that up here because yeah,
Luigi's going to run away.
As we're starting to digress.
yeah. Yeah, I've got to go away now and work on Luigi's movie lounge. So
What you got to
like
do is
it.
go away and watch Total Recall.
not tonight, I'm afraid. Another night. Oh, whilst we're discussing, just quickly, actually, before I do end this episode, have any of you seen the program Black Summer on Netflix?
I have
Nope.
not.
It's
Black Summer.
Yeah, it's a zombie program. Obviously, I believe it's a Netflix original.
Most things are nowadays.
Yeah, but I do recommend it. It's got a very, very gritty. I want to not amateur feel, but it's if you enjoy that sort of genre of program.
Amateur
Is it
film.
like
to it.
a
Are you
found,
picturing me?
found,
Are you picturing me a
found footage
series
film?
or porn? The only time amateur's good in a film
Not-
is when it's on a performance.
Not amateur. I don't know. Do you know what? Knowing me, you know
You
what
mean
I'm
like
like.
Cloverfield or Blair Witch, that kind of found footage look?
Almost. Yeah, almost. But no, I really recommend it. If you enjoy watching sort of your zombie, your survival sort of programs,
Is
definitely.
that anything
do.
like Total Recall? Oh wait, you can't answer because you haven't watched it.
Shut up with bloody.
I do
taking
like
it.
the zombie genre, but I do feel it's a bit oversaturated at the moment. It seems like every third film is a zombie film.
Yeah,
It's been
no,
like that for several years as well.
I do
Yeah.
agree. But I was just looking for something a few weeks back on Netflix just to sort of fill in the Walking Dead gap, if I'm honest. And I come across this Black Summer. I had seen it previously along my Netflix and never really paid it much attention. But no, I put it on and I thought, do you know what? This is actually really good, and it's not copied, you know, The Walking Dead or the other sort of zombie.
It's its own thing.
Yeah, that's the thing that I like about
That's a
it.
good sign. That's a good sign.
Yeah,
because
and
I
I
think
think-
that's what the zombie apocalyptic genre needs. It's a bit of innovation.
Yeah.
And not just copying the popular players in the market.
Yeah, it definitely had that feel for me where I was like, oh, okay, this, you know, I was sort of expecting a bit of a, not so much a Walking Dead rip-off, but, you know, that sort of thing. But, yeah, like I say, after like the first episode, I was like, okay, this has got my attention now. This, you know, they're sort of doing this a different way, and this really, you know, could be something special. So, yeah, I've continued to watch it. I think I've watched about 4 or 5 episodes now, and yeah, I'm gonna finish it.
This episode sponsored by Netflix.
Yeah, sponsored by Netflix. No, it's not.
Arnold Schwarzenegger.
Right, so yeah, that's
This episode sponsored by Ed 209.
dear.
And you
You
have
have 20
20
seconds to
seconds to
download the
comply.
podcast.
20 seconds left. No,
The funny thing is about that is the guy complies, doesn't he? Because he's basically like, drop your weapon. He drops the weapon, but he just carries on going. You've got 15 seconds to comply. The guy's like, shit, like, starts like freaking out, and then he ends up just getting blasted by it.
Yeah.
thanks, you've spoiled that for me now.
You're not going to watch it.
You've never
Luigi.
seen RoboCop, Luigi.
What?
Oh no, I have seen RoboCop, but when I was very young.
Andy, I don't know. There's no point recommending him to watch films because if he he's going to take the same approach he does with playing games. He's only going to watch the first 10 minutes. So we're not, I haven't ruined anything for him because he'll never see it.
Here we go. Well, on that note, people, I'm
We're always here to support you.
yeah.
10-minute Luigi's got time for 10 minutes of sex.
Oh yeah. No, that has been episode 14. All about Rockstar Games
Recall.
and Total Recall, of course,
And RoboCop.
And Robocop.
and
yeah,
RoboCop,
exactly, yeah.
and Netflix.
Special guest appearance, Ed209.
But yeah, no, episode 14 done with. Thank you very much, guys, for tuning in, and thank you guys for being here with me. And yeah, we'll see you in episode 15. See you later, guys. Bye.
See you later.
Thank you. Bye.